Today's spooky spot, we're having a look at the DC Direct Batman The Long Halloween Series 1 Two-Face. One of Spot's favorite Batman villains, and really one of Spot's favorite villains of all time. This is Two-Face depicted from the comic series and then therefore trade paperback of the Batman The Long Halloween. One of the better arc storylines of Batman. One of the more recent ones, I guess. On the side, a new line of action figures direct from the pages of DC Comics. And down below there is the picture of the Long Halloween trade paperback. You can also see one of the more terrifying aspects of this review. The packaging, sadly, for Two-Face has seen better days. Oh, I can only imagine the stories that this packaging would have had. I actually picked this up on eBay a while back. On the back, an epic tale of mystery and suspense that takes Batman deep into the underworld of Gotham City. Of course, all the other figures that make up Series 1, we've got Batman, Two-Face, the Joker, Catwoman, and Mad Hatter. The read-up for Two-Face says The Long Halloween. The Long Halloween reveals the events that transformed Harvey Dent into Batman's deadly enemy, Two-Face. That's it. That's all it says. And then there's a picture on the side of Two-Face. Very grotesque. What I am going to do, if you still have the guts, I'm going to take a bit of a break. I'm going to get this opened up, and when we come back, we're going to get a look at the two-sided criminal known as Two-Face. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. The accessories that come with Two-Face, for starters, he comes with a granite style display stand. There are notches on the sides, on either side. And he also does have connector points where you can take not only this stand, but the stand that would have come with the other Long Halloween figures, and you can connect them together to form a very long set. Very similar to the Secret Files trading figures as well. The Poison Ivy and the Joker, Two-Face, and Batman. This is nice. I like this textured display stand quite a bit. Now it has one peg. Two-Face has, sadly, one peg hole, so there's only one side that you can actually peg the figure into the display stand, but nonetheless it's still nice that they included it. Other accessories that come with Two-Face, he does come with a gun, a little pistol. Very, very small, but surprisingly very detailed as well. And I like the paint that they've put on it. Like so. Other accessories that come with Two-Face, he does come with the sheet from the calendar. Again, the problem is though that the calendar sheets, they're just like a paper. That's all it is. I mean, you know, it's expected. It's a calendar piece and all, but it's not going to last. It's definitely not going to last. You could just lay it on the display stand, but this will probably get crumpled at some point, and ultimately you're probably going to forget what it's for. See, even Two-Face forgot, and you're likely probably just going to throw it away. I mean, it's nice that they included it, but it's just a useless piece of paper, really. And lastly, while Two-Face takes a nap, you also get an alternate hand. This hand actually features the good side of coin in his hand. However, on the actual figure, we look at the actual hand that is on the figure currently, and he has the scarred coin. So depending on how your mood is, if you're in a good mood or bad mood, that would dictate as to which coin you would like to have in his hand. It's a small little detail, but a really nice thing that they incorporated with the figure. Now, having a look at the actual figure itself, he's very, very, very nicely detailed. Very. He definitely looks like he did in the actual comic. One thing with DC Direct figures, which is a good or bad aspect depending on how you look at it, being that they are so heavily influenced by a certain style of a comic that they're based from, will either alienate a collector from buying it or gravitate the collector towards buying it. If you didn't really like the art design of the Long Halloween, you probably totally would have passed on these figures because their design is very unique and very different from some of the other things that we've seen from DC Direct. The face, first of all, for Two-Face, it's different. The human side of it, human unscarred side of Two-Face, is really nicely detailed. I like the fact that he's got this little curl of the hair going on there. Really, from this side, it also could have worked as an aged Superman as well. He's got some blue highlights going on in his hair as well. Maybe a little more than what he needed. It could have been just a little more black. But the sculpt on his face is really, really nice. When you actually get to the scarred side, you can see where a lot of the work was put in. This would be the type of Two-Face where he has no hair on this side. It's very similar to the Dark Knight Two-Face and a lot of how Two-Face is appearing now, where he's basically just completely scarred and there's nothing left on the one side. I still like the extra hair. I like the little zany hair on Two-Face. But despite that, I love the sculpt and the paint that they've done on the scarred, disfigured side of Two-Face. You can see his eye looks really irritated. It's pink, or he's got pink eye. Either way, that's not good for anybody. And his teeth are this nice yellowed color as well. He has no ear, but the wash that they've put on the side of his scarred face works really, really well. As for his suit, he lives up to the aspect of Two-Face. A little bit different, though. A little bit different in the sense that, for starters, he has pretty much the same suit on either side. It's just a different color. Most Two-Face characters, the way that they're depicted, generally you'll have one solid color, maybe one pin on the other side pinstripe, or there is a distinct difference between the two. In this case, it does look like it's the same style of suit, just slightly, slightly colored differently from the other side. One of also the only few Two-Faces that actually have a double-breasted suit, in the fact that he's not directly cut in half with a very specific color scheme on either side. Having this fold over kind of overlaps his dark, scarred side. Now, some would almost read into the fact that that would make him slightly more off-keltered of a Two-Face than most Two-Faces because his dark aspect encompasses more of the human side. Perhaps that's reading too much into things, but it's interesting. I like the fact that it's just very different than what we normally have gotten with Two-Face, with just a clear-cut, halved character. I also really like the fact that he's got a pinstripe suit. Black, this really nice blue on the one side. His tie matches actually the opposite side, so the pinstripe black and white matches that side. The blue, of course, matches that side. Same colored shirt, that's not different at all. On the one side, he's got his glove, again matching the human side, all the way down to his shiny shoes. He's a very short Two-Face, too. I don't really have to scale here, but unfortunately I don't have him with me right now. But he is a little smaller than some of the other figures in the line, obviously excluding Mad Hatter. I think he's about the same as Catwoman, but I haven't reviewed Catwoman as of right now. Definitely her review is on the way as well. We can actually take the pistol and put it into his one hand. Sadly, the only hand that will hold the pistol. But the beauty of it is you can actually have the finger on the trigger, which is a nice little touch. In the way of Two-Face's articulation, he has an upper ball joint in the head, ball joint in the upper neck area. So lots of movement in his head, as you can see. His shoulders don't look to be on a pin and socket at all, but they have just a rotation. They rotate at the bicep. He has a bend in the elbow, rotation in the hand. Doesn't look to be anything in the waist. Really is not a big deal because his suit jacket is covering that anyways. And his legs go forward and back, and a rotation in the foot. No bend in the knee or anything like that, but that's fine anyways. It's entirely up to you if this is your your favorite look of Two-Face. It may not necessarily be my favorite look. Again, with some of the DC Direct figures, they're very specific to the comic that they're based on. Well, again, this isn't my favorite Two-Face. I really got to respect a lot of the work that they put in the face. I mean, the detail here is probably some of the best that we've seen in a Two-Face figure. Even if you don't like the design of the character, you definitely have to give them credit for the sculpt and everything else they've done to the figure itself. This Two-Face, I am going to give him a very terrifying 8.5. Today's spooky spot, we're having a look at the DC Direct Batman Long Halloween Two-Face. Let me know your thoughts down below, what you think of this figure. And certainly there are more spooktacular spooky spots happening this month, so stay tuned for that. In the meantime, I'm going to wrap this up here. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you guys next time.